You know that feeling when you feel like you've been here before? And I don't mean just regular deja vu, I'm talking about something way deeper. A sense that your own life is kind of echoing itself, right? Like major moments are rhyming with each other across time. Well, today we're diving into this really fascinating and super personal theory about exactly that.
Okay, let's just jump right in. I want you to really chew on this question for a sec. What if your life wasn't this straight, predictable line from A to B? What if, instead, it was a series of echoes, resonances, where your past is literally mirrored in your future, and not just randomly, but in a structured, almost predictable way?
So here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to look at the core theory of life resonance, then this idea of a 40-year mirror. After that, the rebirth at 50, what comes next in the uncharted territory, and finally, how it all might connect to echoing generations.
All right, let's get into it. First up, a theory of life resonance. This is really the heart of the whole idea.
So, the big idea here is called chronological resonance. And what it suggests is that the really big moments in our lives, the turning points, they don't just happen and then disappear. No. Instead, they create what the author calls superpositions. It's kind of like dropping a stone in a pond, right? The ripples just keep going. And those ripples, those echoes, they reappear later on, mirrored at very specific points in your life.
And this is where it all started. This is the raw, unedited thought that sparked this entire philosophy. It's just a simple question, right? Does a turning point create some kind of echo, a superposition that matters later on? It's that gut feeling, that intuitive spark, that's the foundation for everything we're about to unpack. Okay, so that brings us to the first really concrete example of how this theory works. Section 2, the 40-year mirror. This is where we start traveling back in time, but, virtually.
And this quote just lays it out perfectly. The author noticed this feeling that around age 39 or 40, their life started to feel a lot like it did when they were 10. And this wasn't just some random nostalgic moment. It was the beginning of a pattern, a countdown. With each passing year, they felt like they were mirroring an earlier and earlier year of their childhood.
So look how this timeline breaks it down. It's pretty wild. At 40, you're mirroring age 10. Hit 41, and you're resonating with being 9. And it just keeps going down the line. 45 mirrors age 5. All the way until you hit 49, and you're mirroring your very first year on Earth. It's this perfect 10-year countdown right back to where it all began.
So, where does this countdown lead? What happens when you hit the end? Well, that brings us to the real climax of this whole first cycle. Section 3, the rebirth at 50, the end of what's called the super cycle.
This right here, this is the pivotal moment. After that whole decade of traveling backwards through your childhood, you finally hit age 50. And according to this theory, you've done it. You've completed the cycle. You are now mirroring the very event of your own birth. You've hit 0. The countdown is over. It's a total reset point. But think about it. It's not really an end. It's a brand new beginning. A return to the absolute starting line of your life. But what does being reborn at 50 actually mean? Well, here's the kicker. This time, it's a birth with full self-awareness. The author says we're born again, but this time around, we educate ourselves. You can't blame your parents anymore. You can't blame society. The buck stops with you. The responsibility is 100% yours. So let's just compare these two lives, right? Your first life, from birth to 50, was pretty much shaped by everyone else. Your parents, society, you name it. But this new rebirth life, the one that starts now, that's a whole different story. It's shaped by your choices, your self-education, and the control that you, and only you, decide to take. Okay, so what comes next? What happens after this rebirth? Let's move on to Section 4 and explore this idea of the uncharted territory. This is all about what life looks like on the other side. And the author has this really powerful way of describing this new phase of life. It's an uncharted territory, a wilderness. All those old maps and rules you used for your first 50 years, yeah, they might not work anymore. You are literally the explorer of your own brand new life. So if you're about to head into a wilderness, you can't just wander in unprepared, right? The theory suggests you need 3 key things. Number 1, get in good shape. Seriously. Number 2, build yourself a solid habits package. Basically, a set of routines that'll have your back. And number 3, you have to commit, really commit, to educating yourself for this whole new adventure.
And I love this quote because it's just so practical. It's common sense, really. If uncharted means wild, then you've got to be in good shape to travel through it. I mean, think about it. What's the point of this incredible rebirth if you're too sick to actually enjoy it or do anything with it?
All right, now we're going to get into the last piece of this puzzle, and it's maybe the most mind-bending part of the whole theory. This is where the echoes go beyond just your own life. Let's talk about echoing generations.
So check out how this timeline looks forward. The theory speculates that these resonances don't just stop at your own birth. After you've lived in this new self-directed life for a while, another echo might kick in. Maybe around age 87, you start to mirror your father's birth. And after that, who knows? Maybe you enter a phase that resonates with your grandfather's youth.
And this is where it gets really fascinating, right? It becomes this deep question about legacy and connection. The author wonders, hey, if I stay healthy and have the energy, could I actually experience a resonance of my grandfather's youth? It kind of suggests our lives aren't just these isolated little bubbles. We're all deeply connected to the timelines of our ancestors. I mean, just imagine what that would feel like.
Okay, so let's wrap our heads around the key takeaways from this really unique philosophy. First, the big idea. Life might not be a straight line. It might have these cyclical echoes. Second, age 50 isn't just a birthday. It's a symbolic rebirth where self-responsibility becomes everything. And finally, these echoes might even connect us all the way back to our ancestors.
And that leaves us with one last, pretty powerful question to think about. I mean, whether you buy into this whole theory or not, it makes you ask yourself something important. If you were born again right now, with all the knowledge you have, stepping into a future that's unknown but totally yours to control, what would you do differently? What would you build?